يا أيها المدثر قم فأنذر وربك فكبر وثيابك فطهر والرجز فاهجر ولا تمنن تستكثر.
I think everybody in all the schools all throughout the world, they should teach every religion.
Sure.
It should be mandatory. Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, Confucianism, every.
How about yourself? What do you kind of identify with right now?
Confused.
Hopefully we can help some of the...
I was telling him, my dad was full-blood Italian, my mom was Irish, so I didn't have any chance. I was raised as a Catholic.
Okay.
And then, but now I practice no religion.
Okay.
You know?
Are
I
you
try to
more
be
on the-
kind to people. I try to do that. So.
Are you more on the like agnostic side, or are you kind of like...
closer to agnostic.
Okay.
If you say atheist, that's a strong thing.
Yeah.
And I'm hypocritical.
Okay.
If I lose my phone and find it, I'm going, thank you.
You know, one of the...
That's
So-
But see, they got me at a young age, you know.
That's one of the example in the Quran. God says when those people who doesn't believe, when they're in the middle of the sea, when they're about to drown, they say, God, please help us. And when they're in the shore, they say, okay, we got saved. So nobody
I saw a great joke the other day. People treat me like God. And a woman goes, why? She goes, they ignore me until they need something.
Oh, that's funny.
That's a good joke.
You know, I will tell you also...
But one of the strongest Christians I know is my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
Right? And she's an atheist. But she helps people. She finds, cats that are hurt. She feeds, she gives money away and all that stuff. But does she believe, because God's not doing it, He's not feeding this cat. Cat's going to die and stuff.
Sure.
So she does the Christian principles and doesn't even believe in it.
Would you like to have like a little bit of an Islamic understanding as to why that is? Because we have reasons for why that is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that this life is a test and that He elevates some of us by means of others and puts trials between us by means of others.
That's convenient, but it's cruel.
Okay.
What's He doing to these children? Like when this piece of shit, Trump, dropped that bomb and killed us 404 something people, and 200 something of them were kids.
Yeah, well,
and God watches that. That's okay.
So let's take it step by step. So whether it's a matter of convenience or not, we can explore that. But if that is what's fundamentally preventing you from accepting the existence of a God, we have to start there, because if your worldview doesn't match up, then it's just moot, right? You'll always have some third or fourth reason. So like you might say, oh, that's convenient, or look at this principle of harm that's being violated. So you have to have an objective viewpoint, right? So is that something that's preventing you from accepting the existence of God?
I think that's a big one.
Okay.
Either God is all-powerful or He's not.
Yeah.
Do you believe He's all-powerful?
100%, yeah.
Why doesn't He stop the innocent from being suffering?
Right. So in the Quran, it tells us in chapter 21, verse 23, that He's not going to be the one questioned, rather we're going to be the ones questioned, right? So to ask why God does something, you're taking a position, and I mean this with all due respect, sir, it's a position of arrogance, saying that I could do it better, or I know more.
But He also gave us common sense and logic, like 100%. I was explaining to your friend here.
100%.
Like if I was to go over and do some harm to those children, would you stand by and watch?
No, because we're ordered by
arrogance?
No.
Is that arrogance?
No. I'll tell you why. Because in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to stand up for justice, even if it means going against our own family.
Shouldn't God do by His own rules?
Yes. So now we have to take a look at the mechanisms that He deploys, right? So if you're thinking
bombs from America?
No. See, we got to take it step by step, and we have to root the conversation in truth, and there has to be a seriousness about it, because...
But correct me when I'm wrong.
No problem.
Are kids' innocence being hurt all over the world?
Absolutely.
Burned, cooked.
Yes. But for you, I'll tell you why.
If somebody could prevent that...
No, hang on, sir. Hang on, sir. So what you're doing is you're taking the concept of innocence being hurt and you're attributing it to God. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us different in the Quran, that it's by our own hands that we're doing this. Okay? Because remember, from our worldview, sir, we have to look at things.
Not necessarily.
Hold on one second.
There's volcanoes, there's floods, there's diseases.
Yes, there's natural disasters, it's no problem.
Yeah. So
there's
that's
no problem.
not the hand of man.
No, hang on, sir. Because if we can get to the volcano example, but let's take it step by step, right?
I'm annoying as hell.
No.
It's, believe me, we
we
just have to have patience for a proper exchange of dialogue. Otherwise, we won't make progress towards something, right?
Well, progress to you is for me to come to your side of the thing.
No. That's not true,
a lot
sir.
of time reading.
That's not true. Our progress, our progress is actually just to enlighten you, for you to hear our message. If the message resonates as true, it's your choice entirely whether to accept it or not. So for example, I can tell you the reason and the wisdom behind certain things, and you have a choice to say this guy's a quack or this guy actually makes sense, right? So now in regards to, I'm going to bring it back to the innocence and attributing the deaths of innocent people to God. From our worldview, there's twofold to look at it. One is, what is the end goal? Because when we say that this is a test, this world is temporary, the end goal is paradise. The end goal is to receive something in the afterlife. So now you're not there yet where you believe in an afterlife. So what's happening is you're seeing 50% of the equation. 50% of the equation, hold on, sir. 50% of the equation is telling you this is a terrible thing. And the 50% is not wrong. It is a terrible thing for bombs to be dropped.
Now, suffering.
And suffering, absolutely. However, when you're looking at it from the position of a pixel, which is where you and I are at, compared to the position of the Creator, which he sees the entire picture, okay, that we have teachings that tell us that the person that went through the worst type of suffering on this world, the worst. So if you can imagine what that is, that could mean bombing,
oil,
like every day, and you're drinking like cups of hot, and even worse than that, right? So you just keep thinking worse and worse and worse. That on the day of judgment, his heel or toe will be dipped in.
See, I know where you're saying, and I know where you're going, but that's a convenient thing because nobody
hang on. There's
knows.
no convenience.
You don't know, the buck don't know. Nobody's ever come back from that area.
Okay, so now we can explore that, right? Because that's a claim. But I want to deal with what you're saying first, and then we'll go over to the next one. So what you're first saying is to come holistically and to come conclusively on a full circle, right? Is when that person is dipped into paradise, that God is going to ask them, did you ever feel pain or any misery in your life? He's going to say, by your glory, I've never felt anything but happiness. Okay, so what that means is the reward of eternality, if you divide something by infinity, it will always result to the zero of this world.
But you're assuming I assimilate that premise.
Correct. Now you have to. Right. We have to get there first.
I don't believe it. I think that heaven and hell are right here.
Yes.
And I think that man is the one that produces that heaven and hell.
I completely agree, sir.
Like what goes on in Saudi and Yemen and stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, it's men, greed, and everything.
So hang on, step by step, right? So now we have
God to come in and go, hey, you're doing it wrong.
So we have to get you to the position where you actually believe in a creator, and then things will start falling into place. Meaning, I can't push my worldview on you. I'm just enlightening you as to
what your view is.
Yeah,
It's not the truth.
No, but hang on now. That's a claim.
Your view is not the truth.
So we're going to explore that.
Because Christians have the only truth. And
no
if
problem,
you don't
sir.
believe in Christianity, you're going to hell. That's what they
No problem, sir. And they can present their beliefs. What we can do is we can explore their evidences for accepting these beliefs.
They stole that from the Hindus.
Hold on, sir.
Buddha.
So you're not a Christian and you're not a Buddhist. All I can do is no. Don't speak like that of yourself. I think you're my older uncle, and we think nicely of people because we're taught to give people the benefit of the doubt that they're actually sincere until they prove otherwise. So now, you as an agnostic, I can only speak to you. I'm not going to speak to Tom, Dick, and Harry over here that don't exist, right? So in regards to your agnosticism and the principalities of harm, okay, explain to me how you have an objective viewpoint on a principle of harm from an agnostic worldview. So we're going to explore your truth in comparison to what Islam has to offer.
You want my personal view on harm?
This is subjective. I want an objective standard.
On harm?
Yes.
I'm not following the question.
No problem.
Do I believe that there is harm or is not?
No, not the existence of harm. You believe that harm exists.
Correct.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to tell me what determines harm and what determines harmful good, harmful evil, harmful
Emotional
neutral.
suffering and physical suffering.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna accept that.
And in the real time here and now.
Okay.
Not that there could be a reward because nobody knows there's going to be a reward.
No problem. We're stepping into your worldview. Okay. So from an agnostic worldview, you're saying that emotional suffering and pain equals bad. Yes?
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. So if you have a toothache, should you go and deal with the problem?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Because I'm in pain.
Okay, because you have a
I want
deeper
to
seated
eliminate
issue.
pain.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, now that pain, is it a good pain or a bad pain?
The pain is good because it lets me know that there's a fault.
Correct. Correct.
My shoulder.
Correct. So on that same principle, the pain that you feel for hearing the stories of these people is telling you that there is a fault.
Correct.
Okay, now, what we're attributing is the harm caused onto these people is not the fault of God Almighty, but rather other people themselves. And the way that he tests us, okay, is by giving us the opportunity to stand up for that justice and deal with that fault. Okay, so now you have to get to the world's
That's a
view.
good argument.
Of course it is.
But it's like my argument in the here and now and real
Yeah.
now. If you see somebody that's going to harm those little children that
No problem.
walk that day,
Sure.
would you stop me?
Yeah,
or would
absolutely.
you just go, I'm going to wait for God because it's God's will that
No,
Tony,
because what does God
Tony
command
knows
us to
those
do?
kids are going to grow up and be evil.
No, because
You
what
can
you're
say
saying.
that in your philosophy, right?
Yeah,
God
because-
knows the beginning, the end, and everything.
No, I'm not saying don't even go there, beginning, end, and everything. We have to tell us what God tells us to do. So, for example, if God is telling us to stand up for justice, now you can align with that philosophical position, yes? If God says, no, go commit a bunch of injustice and do a bunch of heinous crimes, you're going to be like, what the heck kind of belief is this? Right?
But shouldn't God be subject to his own rules?
Hold on, sir. So, when you say God is being subject to something, God by himself is not dependent on anything but himself. That's the definition
That's
of
why I don't
independence.
believe it, because it doesn't work for me.
Sorry, that
he can cause harm and grief.
So,
and
hold on,
because
sir.
it's him,
What
it's
you're
okay.
doing,
He can make the volcano blow up
Hold on,
and
sir.
incinerate all
what
this.
you're doing, sir, is you're saying that the root cause of all of this is God.
Yes.
And what I'm
He
trying
invented evil, right?
Okay.
There was no evil until God invented it.
Okay. So,
Correct?
yeah, absolutely. Evil is a creation. It's a means. It's a
Do
mechanism.
you think that's a godly thing to create evil?
Yes, because if you create something without purpose, so for example, it would be. Hold on, sir. Do you believe that God does things?
How would you
Hold on, just one
differentiate
sec. Don't-
good with evil?
Because you guys are
Hold on.
telling me two different things.
No,
How
hold on,
do you
sir, hold on.
equate evil without or good without evil?
Right.
But then you're telling me that there's paradise where there is no evil.
Correct, sir.
You can't have
What
both
you're
ways.
doing, sir, what you're doing is you're saying, I want paradise on earth. And what we're telling
No, I don't believe it's possible.
Okay, so now, if that's the case, sir, then you align with our beliefs. We don't believe that paradise is possible on this earth.
But you believe there is a paradise.
Yes, but let's not get
With
there
no
because
evil.
because.
So
Hold on, sir.
it's
Step by step.
possible here on earth.
No, it's not possible here on earth.
If God produces it in Therium,
No,
then
not
it
in theory.
exists,
Not in
according to
theory.
you.
According to him.
Paradise exists.
Yes.
But
We'll
he,
take it step
he
by
won't
step.
allow it here on earth.
Because God does not do things without purpose. If he were to remove all the evil from here, it would be purposeless because there's no test. It's as simple as that.
And why test people? Why
Okay.
not just have good for
Now,
good's sake?
here's the thing. Here's what you're doing, sir. You're basically saying that the table should ask the carpenter, why did you make me? And I'm trying to tell you, sir, that whether you like it or not, you do exist and you are the table, the carpenter being God. The table does not turn to the carpenter and say, why did you put me here? Do you understand?
I hear what you're saying.
Okay, so now, because you have to look at it objectively. What's happening, sir, this is with all due respect because I can tell you're a kind individual and you have a big heart. So you want to stand up for these things. All that I'm saying is that you need to categorize the injustices that are happening, not to God, right? Because this is by his permission that everything is allowed. For example, you have two lenses of his will. You have his will of creation, meaning volcanoes can erupt, sandstorms can happen, thunderstorms can happen, okay? And somebody's life can be taken from that volcano, okay? Then you have the other lens of his will, which are his laws. Don't kill, don't steal, do good unto others, and so on and so forth. Stand up for justice. Just because his laws are there, it doesn't mean someone is going to choose to follow them or not. Do you understand?
God's broke every one of the
Okay,
10. Do you guys
now-
have 10 commandments in there?
We have more than 10 commandments in here.
Jews got 600.
21.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, on that note, sir, what would be more just to you? For these people to go about, commit these heinous crimes, to be there no punishment other than the punishment that may be in this world, which some of them may not face. Meaning, they can live lavish lives, they'll pass away as, happier than whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Punishment free.
Punishment free, right? they can skirt the court system, they can skirt everything, right? Okay, now, that's your worldview temporarily. The agnostic
That's my
worldview,
worldview.
okay, so now,
And that is why I think man
hang on a second.
made religion.
No,
because
hang on.
there was a sense of powerlessness. It's not fair that this king could cut off, like the Taj Mahal guy, he
Okay.
killed 20,000 people
Okay.
after he made the temple and stuff. It just doesn't seem fair to go, well, God will punish him later on.
No,
I don't
sir.
believe that.
God tells us to.
Otherwise, he'd punish him now.
God tells us to conduct the punishment now, and that He will also deal with them later. So if somebody is committing injustice, we have to have a due process on this person. There's punishments relative to the crime. That's the whole judicial system that Islam brought. Now, in regards to where you currently stand and your claim about man making religion, I want to ask you, and I mean this with all sincerity, what is your objective criteria to determining whether God exists or not? Because everything...
If what?
What is your objective criteria to determining whether God exists or not? Because everything
You
right
allow
now...
suffering.
Oh, no, hang on. This is not an objective criteria. This is your subjective...
But you're asking me why I don't believe in God, and I'm telling you the reason I don't, because I look around
Yes.
at the real world. Now, right now, you're in America sitting in a mall where everybody's lavish and
No
everything
problem.
else. But if you were in Gaza right now, or if you were a Jew in Dachau,
Sure.
you don't find many Jewish people that survived the
But hang on,
Holocaust
just
that
talk
believe
about
in God.
between...
They don't
Just
believe
talk
in
about
God.
between us. So
You think you can communicate with
let me
God.
let me steelman your position real quick. Okay? So you say that your evidence, objectively, is God doesn't exist because there's suffering.
I don't believe, I'm agnostic, so
No,
I don't know. But I have seen
Okay.
no evidence that
Okay.
God exists.
No problem,
I don't
sir.
see any
No
evidence.
problem, sir. So now, I'm going to steelman you for a second, okay? I also accept suffering to exist, but I believe in the existence of God. And I believe I'm right. Prove me wrong.
No, there's no proof. I mean, it's an individual thing.
No, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
And, I mean, you're representing Islam, right?
Absolutely.
But what if I said, you're right, man? I think I'm going to go get be a Buddhist,
Okay.
or I go be a Christian.
Yes.
Would that be acceptable to you?
No, it would be criminal, and here's the reason why.
See?
Because now let me explain my reasons.
Here's the reason.
Let's explain the
Here's the
reasons.
reason.
Explore the reasons. We have fundamental oppositions in our doctrine. Buddhists believe that they are divine incarnate, that they themselves are deities, and that the energies will return to the universe. Okay?
But you don't.
No.
But you believe that we're going to exist in a
Hold
paradise,
on a
which
second.
is a never
But we don't believe. Oh, just step by step, sir.
Same thing.
No, it's not
No,
the same
you're
thing.
just
What you're doing is you're-
I'm not joking.
one
I'm
to
stating what he's saying.
Okay,
He's
no.
saying that there's
Sir,
gotta listen to him
I
to
only
see where
stated
he's
one thing.
going.
I have two more to go to. Buddhists believe that they are divine. Christians believe that God incarnated here on earth. Muslims believe that God did not incarnate, and we believe that we are not divine.
I believe that too.
Okay, so that means you reject Christianity and you reject Buddhism based on principalities of doctrine. So you have used objective criteria, which is rationale and reason.
See, I object them all.
No, hold on.
Islam, Buddha.
We'll explore.
It just none of it makes sense.
Hold on. We will explore. We know why you rejected Buddhism, and we know why you rejected Christianity. Because you believe that God can't be a man, and because you believe that you're not God. These are two rational.
I don't believe, I don't know what your doctrine says, but like the Christianity says that God is a man.
Right.
I believe that there is some kind of an entity. He's not looking at us.
Then you're not an
what
agnostic.
we do today.
You're not an agnostic.
I mean, it's
sir.
such an overview, and there's such a huge universe.
No problem, sir.
And
No
it's not comprehensible to us. There's, like I was telling your friend here,
Yeah.
I do believe that there's intelligence in the world.
Absolutely.
Because when you plant a seed in the ground, it grows.
Absolutely.
Or, there's the weather, the way it all works. There seems to be some kind of intelligence that works.
Absolutely.
And that
I
intelligence
completely agree
also
with you, sir.
includes death.
Absolutely.
Right? So you got predators that keep the herd down and stuff.
Absolutely.
It's just
There's an order.
an order.
That's right. And there's
so
fine tuning.
You can't say that there is no.
Yeah.
But do I believe that there's some guy up there going like this?
But that's
And
not.
Do I
we don't.
that you
We don't
can
believe that.
consult
That's
with
the.
him?
We don't believe
Do you
that.
believe you can talk? Do you believe in prayers that can change God's mind?
So when you say change God's mind, we don't.
You pray to him for something.
Yes,
Please
sir.
help my children.
Okay, so allow me to explain. So, from the Islamic paradigm, we believe in something called al-lawh al-mahfuz, which is the tablet and the pen. Okay? On this tablet, everything was written from beginning to end. What will be from the dawn of time, t equals 0, until
Is
the
that
end of.
accessible to humans?
Hang on, sir. Hang on, sir. Just track with me for
You
just a
just
moment.
want to go there and see it.
Yes.
No. He's bringing up things
But-
I have to ask
No,
what the
I will.
premise is. You
I
can't
will.
just
I'm just
say, I got this
just giving you the
fucking- wait a
premise
minute, what
right
is
now.
that?
I'm just giving you the premise because you have to conceptually understand. Your question was, can I change God's mind through prayer?
Correct.
And now I'm explaining the answer. It's not a simple answer, but if it makes rational sense to you, great. If not, we can explore the depths. So there is a tablet. On that tablet, everything was written. God commanded the pen to write on the tablet everything that was, will be, is, and so on.
So there's no free will. It's always already
Hang on, sir.
predetermined.
This is another. You've asked me.
We're gonna be here
No, we won't.
for years,
Listen,
man.
I love talking about this, and so the idea
What
is,
is your background, by the way?
I used to be an atheist.
But are you?
I'm a Muslim. Alhamdulillah, I'm a Muslim. So
Where were you born?
I was born in Europe, a secular.
Europe.
I was born in a
Are you from the
socialist
Middle
country.
Eastern
No.
heritage?
Balkans, white guy, and it's neither here nor there. Don't worry. But
Well, it kind of is because
it's not because nothing.
So
We're not.
you
We're
converted
not. Yes,
into
we're not.
Islam.
We're not an ethnocentric
How long
religion.
have you been in the Islamic faith?
Probably about 14 years.
Oh, so
Okay, so hang on, sir. Let me give you the
done
answer.
some in-depth studying.
Absolutely. I did cross-comparative religious studies. I've got my Bible right there, which I can pick apart if you will.
What caused you to get into this? Was there something lacking in your life?
Yeah, there was. Closure. Yeah, closure. I couldn't answer the question how something could come from nothing. So my brain naturally was trying to get closure.
I think any rational human being thinks about it.
Allow me to, well, thank you for that. Allow me to explain. On this tablet, everything was written. Okay, now, I will table the subject of free will temporarily. I will get to that and give me just 2 minutes. So, on this tablet was written that you will make a prayer. And let's say on January 1st, it was written that you will make that prayer. Okay, because this is in the knowledge of God. Okay? On January 3rd, the prayer was answered. On January 2nd, God did not change his mind. It was written both on January 1st that you would make the
So
prayer.
there's no free will.
Nah, hang on.
It's all predetermined.
Hang on, sir. From an Islam, so are you? Before I go to the free will, are you satisfied with this? Now we can explore the depths, which
No,
is the
I
free
don't.
will.
So it's hard for me to assimilate these things. First of all, I don't believe in a tablet.
I understand, sir.
I don't believe that it's all predetermined.
Okay.
I believe it's just.
We are not hard.
happens as we-
We are not hard determinists. Islam is a
That's
religion.
from your point of view.
No, it's not. I'm telling you, Islam. We believe in compatibilism. So what that means is the things that are compatible with God's will, meaning right now we can't have a square circle. It's illogical. It's not a thing. You can't have a married bachelor. It's illogical. It's not a thing. You understand? Mm-hmm. The things that are compatible with God's will, the will of universality, meaning you and I are human beings, we had a time point origin, is the other thing is things that we did not get to determine. What our eye color was, what family we were born to, how tall we will end up being, okay? But we have a compatibilistic worldview, meaning my eye color will be my eye color. I didn't get a choice saying, oh, I want this, that, and the third. It just is, okay? Now, from a hard determinist point of view, we do not believe in hard determinism. The reason being is because now, if you take the position of a hard determinist, now you can blame everything on God because there's no free will. So we believe in compatibilism, meaning you had a choice for certain things and you had no choice in certain things. No choice, family, what blood type, blah, 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 okay? Choice in other things, meaning, should I stand up for justice? Should I be unjust? Should I
think but you're saying God is not a determinant of those same rules.
No. No.
He's outside those rules.
Yeah, absolutely. Because he's not.
That's where.
Okay, so
I can't accept
now hang
that.
on. Now hang on. Now we can explore the reasons why you cannot accept it. So, for example, our version of God, meaning our understanding of God, is what He revealed of Himself, and He says that His mercy encompasses or overpowers His wrath. So, if you were to ask me, do you believe in a wrathful God?
Yes.
Okay. Or do you
I don't believe in God. But if I do,
I'm saying if you were to ask me,
yeah.
do I believe in a wrathful God or do I believe in a merciful God? We would tell you that His mercy overwhelms His wrath. You understand? And then you would ask me, do you believe in a just God? Okay. We would say we believe in a most just God. in all true scenarios. So what does that mean? That means that justice needs to be delivered to people on all ends of the spectrum relative to where they are. You understand? So that justice is going to be delivered in two ways. One is the material plane, which is here and now. Two is the celestial plane, which is afterwards. If you take an agnostic point of view, your concern is not on the celestial yet. And I'm telling you that that itself is unjust, because people like Stalin, like Mussolini, like Hitler, like all the things that are going on right now, would not be served the proper justice if it was just left to this material plane. So if you want to take it from that point of view on the principalities of what's going to deliver the most justice, our worldview makes more sense than your worldview, because yours will
Let me
permit.
ask you one question.
Yes, sir, please.
Whether there's a God or whether there's not,
Yes,
would it change you?
absolutely.
Not me.
Okay, and how
It
so?
would. I would conduct myself regardless.
Okay.
I'm not looking for reward,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not pretending that I'm going to pay for any kind of a fast.
Yes.
It wouldn't change my. It's like I've got that woman I told you about
Yes, yes.
that does the most Christian type of view. She's just good, and she doesn't believe that there's somebody motivating her. It doesn't change. In fact, that's why I heard it. She goes, really right. She's in the medical field. Right?
Okay.
She goes, what difference does it make? Whether there is or whether there isn't, how's that going to change it? If you say, well, it's going to change me because I'm going to conduct myself in a certain way, then you're doing it for reward. That's evil.
No, that's not true. That's a bold claim to make. I'm not doing it for reward. So let's take it step by step. You say that it would not change you, but what you're doing
If there
is,
was no God,
hold on, sir.
how would you conduct
No,
your life?
I understand. No, I understand, sir. So what you're saying is we have to look at a standard in order to conduct our life, which I agree with. I'm telling you that you yourself are choosing to set the standard for yourself.
Correct.
Okay, now what you have accepted to be true is that's the only possible way.
No.
Okay, so then why do you accept it to be true?
Except what to be true?
Why do you accept that the only possible way is for you to determine what's good and what's bad? See, because you're posing the question to me of whether or not it would change my life,
Well,
and you've taken
it
it
would have
on.
to be like.
Allow
you
me
know,
just to conclude.
Is murder wrong?
Yes, absolutely.
Is
From
it?
our world, yes,
Wait,
absolutely.
is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So a man comes in, he's deranged, into your house, he's threatening your kids,
Yeah.
and you have a gun there,
Absolutely.
and you take him out. Is
absolutely.
that wrong? That's murder.
No, it's not murder. This is an act of self-defense, sir.
It's murder. There's
It's not-
been
no,
a
sir.
death committed.
Hold on, sir.
You can justify it by naming the murder.
No, hey, let's take it step by step.
Listen, we're gonna go.
No, hang on. Let me leave you with this.
I wanna
Let me
go
leave
there.
you with this because you left you brought up a good example. So let me leave you with this, sir. When you use certain language has meaning.
Absolutely.
When you say the term murder, this means intent.
Correct.
Okay. Was it my intent for him to come to my house?
No.
No. So that means that it is not categorized as murder, it's categorized as something else. Yes. This is a rational position.
Well, I mean, what's murder? Is murder
No.
taking a life?
No, sir, it's not. The
Okay,
textbook
well.
definition of murder is that when somebody goes with preemptive knowledge to take a life. So that means you plan something out, whether that be 10 seconds of planning or whether that be 10 hours of planning.
Right.
You actually had a motivating factor, because when they do criminal investigations, they say, hey, what was the motive?
Right.
Okay, so now when
Those
they
are
conduct...
man-made constructs.
But sir, we have to, motive is just it's a psychological thing. You have
Because
a
God
motive.
isn't, like in your own view, God isn't restricted by that. He just go, oh, I'm going to,
No, but hang on,
like in
sir.
the Bible, he took out, 120 Assyrians with one guy with a
Hold
gable
on,
blowing
sir.
the horn. You just go, hey, get rid of him, and then
Sir.
go on.
Sir, hang on. We have to take things step by step. What you're doing is you are committing a categorical fallacy where you're attributing something to something that doesn't deserve the attribution. So God's reasons for doing what you're doing, you're not there yet. You don't believe in God. So you can't now take the position of, I'm blaming something I don't believe in, and I'm choosing not to believe in it because I'm blaming. This is full-blown circular reasoning.
No, but I'm not blaming. I just don't believe that there's. When I address, like in this conversation,
Sure.
when you say that God is omnipotent and He's all loving,
I didn't say he's all loving. We don't believe he's all loving.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. We're not Christians.
Yeah.
So we believe that he's most loving, and we believe he's most just.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's mostly a construct of human psychology.
See, this is a bold claim, sir. So, like, for example, can I give you one of my criterias that I looked at when I was exploring religions? Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is I wasn't too keen on metaphysical exploration at the time, meaning somebody would tell me, here's a ruler, go tell me how much you weigh. I didn't have the instruments to explore the metaphysical world. What I did have the instrument of is exploring testimonial evidence. So 1400 years ago, there was a man claiming that he was receiving revelation from God.
You believed it?
I had to explore his evidences. Okay, so here's my position.
This guy was a warlord.
No, sir. Please don't say that, because.
And he was also a merchant. And his wife was a great businessman.
Sir, step by step.
But modern Islam, they reduced women's constrictor.
Again, you're making 3 claims now, which I'm happy to address.
It's historical for Muhammad, right?
Sir, no.
He was illiterate.
Yes, he was illiterate. He could not read or write.
Yeah, and he was surrounded by people,
which would be a pretty bold claim for an illiterate man to come out with a linguistical composition that's still.
It's happening now with Trump. We got all these guys around us.
Trump did not claim.
Do you know what illiterate means?
Yes. Someone who uneducated, can't read or write. Yeah.
So how is that possible? Someone who is.
I don't think it is. I think it was a construct.
Okay, so
I think it was a myth that was just like Jesus walked on water. I don't believe that for a second.
Hold on, sir. Let's not
Jesus
birdwalk.
made water out of wine. I don't believe that for a second.
Let's not birdwalk.
Then you don't have to talk about
Let's not birdwalk. We're going to look at purely.
Muhammad, 1360 years ago, year 1320, right? That's when he came out.
Sir, hang on, just 1 second.
Hey, I gotta go, man. Look, you guys are gonna keep me here.
Admit. I want you to admit something.
What?
That you came across a group of people that are rational, reasonable. They wanted to have a dialogue with you, and everything that we've presented to you so far, nothing made you think of like some candied unicorn on the moon. Okay.
No.
So now, I'm gonna leave you with this. This person made the claim that he was receiving revelation. Either he was a liar, either he was deceived, either he was medically insane, or he was telling the truth.
Or he was used as a pawn.
Sir, then that means he was deceived.
Because Jesus,
hold on, sir,
says the same exact thing
please,
about Jesus,
please. Listen to me very closely, sir. Either he was a liar,
right.
Either he was deceived, which means he would be used as a pawn.
Right.
Okay. Either he was medically insane, or he was telling the truth. Categorically speaking, there's no fifth option. I'm telling you this from one intellectual to another. Categorically speaking, anything that you say.
Oh, you're asking my choice?
No. I'm saying that you're going to have to pick a position.
Yeah.
Because this person made a claim.
I think it was deception.
Great. So now I want you to back that claim up the next time that we talk, because you're short on.
Study. I'm not prepared for it.
No, sir. That's what I'm telling you. Go, do the research.
Yeah.
Take a look to see if this guy was deceived.
I'm gonna live my life. I'm going to get my extra years in. I'm just going to try to be nice and kind to people as I go.
Yeah, but
what difference does it make?
It makes a big difference, sir, because we genuinely.
And if I get to another place and they're going, hey, Tony, you didn't believe, I go, well, you didn't give me enough evidence.
Sir,
you did not give me enough evidence to make a rational, intelligent
So here
decision.
you have this conversation with me.
You harm people, you burn kids up.
Sir, please.
And he goes, hey, I did that.
You're speaking out of emotion now. We're men here, and we look at things logically, right? Okay. You have information. You have the evidences.
Yeah,
whether you choose to,
I will definitely look for
it. Please read it, because whether you choose to explore it, that's up to you.
Yeah.
We're not here to convince you.
I got a thirst, as you can tell.
Okay, sir. And come back to us.
And I spent, like I told you, my dad. I was raised in the Catholic.
Yeah.
I went through all the ceremony of that. But then after, when I was about 14, 15, in the Christian Catholicism religion.
Sure.
Then you're an adult Christian, you make your own mind up.
Absolutely.
And I went on, then I got into and I was going to church 3 times a week and stuff, and I was reading all this stuff. The more I read, the more I understood. If I told you about a man that was born of a virgin, walked on water, and did miracles, who would I be talking about? Buddha.
No.
Osiris. It's the same story rehashed for thousands of years.
Sir, can I ask you a personal question?
This one happened to stick with Christianity.
Can I ask you a personal question?
And in your part of the world happened to stick with Muhammad.
Can I ask you just a personal question? Are you much of like a TV guy? You like to watch a lot of movies and stuff? Nothing? Okay. See, because
I get hooked on YouTube.
Okay. The reason why is because oftentimes when we talk to folks, they see patterns in certain things, but when we probe the depths of why they accepted these patterns to be true, it usually boils down to them seeing a clip or a snippet of something. And they themselves have not gone to primary sources to see what these claims are and what the evidences are for these claims. So I just encourage you, as a man of honesty, right? Approach it with a sincere heart and a sincere mind. Mm-hmm. Nothing in Islam will make you question.
Well, if it's true, it'll resonate. I hope it
absolutely,
resonates with me.
Absolutely,
It's true.
Absolutely.
But if it's trying to bend me towards its community, then I'm going to be a little leery of it.
No. That's not the case, sir.
The way
Catholicism, you need to come to our way, and if you believe in, and see, right away it loses me when. Here's the thing: when I was younger than any of you guys, I went to India. Yeah. Right. So I went to a place. It was a long story, but I ended up going to an ashram.
Okay. Yeah.
For one of the 5 living saints in India.
Sure.
This, Swami Muktananda.
Sure.
So in this ashram, they have this prayer place where you go in and meditate, prayer, call it.
Yeah.
So the ashramites bringing me in there, and here's a picture of Muhammad, and here's a picture of Buddha, and here's a picture of Jesus Christ, and I'm going, why do you have all these pictures of these different faiths? Sure. And you guys are Hindu. And so, Tony, we believe that there's many paths to the top of the mountain.
Sure.
We don't care which one you take. Get on a path and go to the top of the mountain. Your religion and my religion,
sir, have you actually?
We go, no. If you don't take our path, you're going to be damned.
Have you ever?
Right there, they just go. That doesn't sound.
Sir, have you read
to me at all?
Have you read the Bhagavad Gita?
I read parts of it. It's not that thick.
It is
so damn.
It is. So listen, and this is just.
Okay,
so listen. Now here's the thing. I have spoken to thousands of Hindus. Okay, and I'm telling you this
thousands of whom?
Hindus, people that believe in Hinduism. None of them have a coherent response to the same belief. Okay?
Neither do we.
No, hang on. This is where we differ. We do have a coherent response.
But you believe in a God, so does the Christians. And
so we
disagree because
remember what
we're saying that light. You go, no,
sir,
that light.
Sir, with all due respect, remember what we discussed earlier. We believe in there being one God who is not begotten, who is not incarnate in any way, shape, or form.
That's what Christians believe.
That's not true, sir. This is not true, sir. And this is why we have to. Listen,
they lose me too.
No, but hang on, sir.
They lose me too.
When we went through the 3 examples,
because who is Zoroaster?
Sir, when we went.
In the Bible, they talk about God talks about
Melchizedek.
in the Bible.
Yes, I'm understanding. He has no beginning, no end, no lineage.
Melchizedek.
Melchizedek. Yes, we're very aware.
My favorite son. Wait a minute.
We're very aware.
Jesus was your favorite son.
We're very, very aware, sir. He also claims that he doesn't have any lineage, he doesn't have beginning, he doesn't have an end.
I think it's all BS.
So now, sir, again,
the whole Bible is.
I don't believe he was on the cross. I don't think he.
Like I said, we have 3 fundamental opposing doctrines. One of them believes in a multitude of gods. One of them believes in God incarnating as a man.
Interesting point.
Okay, one of them believes.
In Islam, is there, besides Muhammad, which he is just a prophet, right?
He's just a prophet.
He's just a spokesman.
Prophet and a servant of God.
Do you guys have, is there any kind of deities other than God?
Only one God.
Like in Christianity, you can pray to Jesus, pray to his mother, pray to like my guy, St. Anthony. That's what I was named after.
We cannot, it is the worst sin from his eyes is to associate partnership. So we only have one deity worthy of worship.
You just brought up something too then.
Yes.
If I was to sit down and draw Muhammad,
yes,
is that a sin?
It is.
Yes.
Right.
Because now hang on.
It just seems so.
So hang on, sir.
Have you seen Muhammad?
No, hold on one second.
It doesn't matter. I mean, nobody's seen God.
Hold on, sir. We have to take it step by step. We have to take them step by step. Please don't just be dismissive, because when you make claims about certain things, we have to explore the wisdoms behind these claims. So allow me to impart even more wisdom as my senior, okay? The reason why it's forbidden is, number one, during the time of Moses, okay, they used to form idols and they used to form sculptures. These idols were of people that went to war, and they became people that were looked up to. Eventually, what started happening is people started praying to these idols, okay? So that is one of the wisdoms. Number two, in regards to the knowledge of what the Prophet, peace be upon him, looked like, neither you or I know. So what my brother was trying to say is, if you depict him in any way other than what he deserves to be depicted on, you are committing an egregious offense on somebody. Hold on, sir.
Yeah.
That's
so it's losing
no,
me,
sir.
though.
Hang on.
But is that worth what happened in Denmark? with
Sir,
Charlie.
sir, how are you linking the two, sir?
Because they burned up all those things. They
Sir,
killed those people.
just
They burned
wait.
up just for drawing
Wait,
a cartoon.
sir.
And it wasn't even the Quran. It was
Sir.
a Muslim that drew the cartoon.
Sir,
So
step by step.
If something is offensive to me, right? If I don't like you to curse my mother or my sister, why would you do it?
I'm
No,
not
why
gonna
would you
slice
do
your
it?
throat or cut your arms
no,
off?
sir,
for you,
sir,
because
where are
I
you?
think that's evil.
Where are you getting
That's
this?
And
evil.
it's just ink on
No,
paper.
no.
What
Sir,
difference
sir,
does it make?
wait.
Look, no. Why would you do such a thing? Is that right? So, are you gonna? Am I have to watch you cursing my sisters and my mother?
We
just
have a
saying
thing in
words?
America: sticks
No.
and stones may break our bones,
Sir.
but
No,
words will never hurt
Sir,
us.
please.
I don't know if I believe that either. But
Yeah.
No,
You
it's-
look, you're becoming into this like hyper skeptic, like
No,
wet noodle type
I was that way
amorph.
when you first started
No, I
talking.
understand.
I told you right out the way, because I don't accept anybody. If you guys would be the Hare Krishna, I'd
No,
be
we
having
have-
the same
look,
response.
sir.
We
Or if
have
you guys were
something
Buddhists,
called-
I'd have the
Sir,
same
but
response.
something
I'm
you
being
have-
stable in
you
my
gotta
own,
be rooted
my
in
own
truth,
personal
sir.
philosophy.
something we have.
Sir,
Because
but
I
your
don't
philosophy
bend to
has
your
a-
will doesn't mean that I'm wrong.
Something we have in Islam is called dignity and respect, and we respect our fathers, our mothers, our sisters. We're not just like, okay, mother, you raised me, you did something. We don't
But
say
you don't respect
fuck you.
if I
Right.
draw a
No,
cartoon.
Look,
Sir,
look,
you're boiling it down to something.
you're not getting
You're not getting the
It's not
essence
what you
of
want to
it.
hear, but
The
that's
essence
what
of
I'm
it.
saying.
No. Look,
It's
I'm
just
not gonna
a cart-
look. I'm
like
not
we-
gonna
we
listen.
Sir, it's
draw-
not just a
We here in
cartoon. He's a
America, we
prophet
draw
of God.
pictures of,
Like, look,
Sir,
Christians
you don't
and-
accept
and
him
make
to be a
cartoons
prophet of
all
God.
that. Nobody kills you over
Just
that.
hold on. If for you, it's not a problem if I in front of you if I say to your wife it's not a problem. It's just like what was the
Yeah, whatever.
proverb that he said before?
Well, he's neither here
so
nor there.
It's nothing like for you, but for me it's a
Sticks
big
and
deal. I'm
stones.
just gonna punch the person. He says I'm gonna.
Until you get my age, you're not going to punch anybody.
No.
You're
I,
going to
that's-
walk away.
even though if I don't care if somehow I fight you and you beat me up, but I'm gonna fight you because you have done something wrong. I'm gonna write you. Because you have made a big mistake. You do not have any right to do something wrong to a person's family.
Mm-hmm.
So Muhammad is a prophet. He's more than a father to us, more than a mother. Look,
You don't accept it to be true.
He showed
But
us
if
how
you're
to live.
if it's malicious,
Not only
but if it's
Muhammad.
not malicious,
It is malicious because-
doesn't matter. We don't want it.
Hold
Look,
on.
If
Brother, let me help him out
I
real
don't
quick.
want
but why
you-
should your will be imposed
Hold
upon
on,
me?
sir.
No.
Because what we're trying to
No,
tell
it
you
is
is,
my will.
I know your will.
No.
Why is your will
Hold on.
imposed upon me?
guys,
I'm
pause
not,
for just
I'm
a
not
second.
imposing it upon you. Hold on.
Then I can draw the cartoon.
Sir.
Who are you?
No, no.
Me,
I'm not
Tony,
allowing
I
you.
can draw a cartoon.
I'm not allowing you.
So that's you're
No,
turning
hold
on
on,
your
guys.
will.
Hold on.
No,
Hold on.
because look, this is my family. Why would you take the picture? Why would you draw my family picture? I'm not. Did you ask me?
But what difference?
No.
would it
Did you
make?
ask me? Do you have look? If I take a picture of you,
But Muhammad is not yours.
He is. He's
it
our
is.
prophet.
We're claiming.
Yeah.
Who's claiming?
But let him.
No.
He
we're-
did. He
look,
told us
look,
not
we
to make
see-
Let
idols
him
or
defend
images.
himself.
He
No.
does.
Is he powerless?
Hold on, guys.
Is he powerless?
That's
Sir,
the power
sir,
of him.
sir,
We're
sir.
defending
Is he-
him. Look, he's not
No,
there.
no.
Look, he's not
Does he
there,
have
but
any,
we're
do
defending
you guys
him.
believe that he has any?
Hold on, sir.
Does-
Just one second.
No. You don't
No.
believe that he has any? He's not
No, he was
affecting.
a human being. He
He's
died.
a human
Yeah.
being, sir.
But we respect
He can't
him as
defend
a
himself
father,
because he's in the
as
grave.
a brother, as a mother. But we're not gonna look. If
But he's a representative of God, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now, sir,
God
the big.
would
Sir, sir.
champion his.
so yeah, there you go.
Now you have to look at
And
the.
So if I
somebody-
drew a cartoon and God did not
So
smite
if-
me,
if-
it's okay
My
with
brother,
God.
please, just
So
wait.
if he
I gotta go,
if you
man.
draw
I've
a
been here for an
cartoon,
hour.
No
if
problem.
you draw a cartoon, and if somebody burned the guy or if somebody punched the guy up, so because God defended him, what's wrong with that?
Sir,
God
the
defended
biggest
Muhammad.
issue is
So
I'm
what's
losing
wrong
it.
with
I'm gonna-
confused.
the issue
Yeah.
here, sir. The issue here is.
I'm gonna read the book.
Please do. The issue here is.
Please,
then you should read it in its entirety. The issue here is, sir, is that you do not accept him to be a prophet of God, so to you it has no meaning. To you, you're viewing it as a cartoon. We accept him as a prophet of God. We accept him as the best of creation. We accept him as a leader in the way that we live our lives, how we treat each other. So to us, it has meaning.
But
No.
But what's your
Prophet
idea of
Jesus,
him?
Prophet
Like that,
Moses.
that Charlie, what was the thing in
Sir,
Charlie
my idea of him,
or whatever? I
just
think
hang on.
they drew a fellow with a beard and a bomb
Doesn't
for a
matter.
hat, right?
It doesn't matter.
But if you don't know,
So now, hold on a
if
second.
nobody knows what
So-
Muhammad looked like,
Hold
why
on,
would
sir.
that show?
Hold on,
So
sir.
why
We
would
have a
you-
description
why
of
would
him.
you disrespect somebody that you do not know? Like you're gonna create it like that, and you do not know anything
Because we
about
got
that.
in here in
So
America, we call it
you
freedom of
obviously-
speech.
Look,
No, you don't have freedom of
obviously-
speech, sir.
Well, I know not now.
Okay, no, you didn't have it before either. Okay, because if I were to tell you right now, go yell bomb over here, that's
No,
not
I
freedom
know,
of
bomb
speech.
on an airplane
So
and
no,
all that stuff.
no, hang on now, sir.
But I could draw a
Hang on.
cartoon.
See,
I could
because
draw a
here's what's-
cartoon of Jesus on the cross. And
Sir,
have it-
no, not according to us, because we love
I
Jesus.
can't. I can't.
Because
as
to
an American,
you,
I
sir,
can do that.
Who gave you that right?
Sir,
Our Constitution.
no, hang on.
The Constitution, it has a freedom of religion,
Sir.
freedom of speech, but you're not. You do not have the freedom to insult somebody's religion.
I can't. I can draw.
Sir,
no, you cannot.
let it
insult
be,
them
dude.
right
Shaitan's
now.
doing his
I
thing,
can-
bro.
I can. You see it on the.
Shaitan's
you see
doing his thing
Jesus-
right now.
You see
He's
Jesus on
trying
the
to
cross
just-
all the time.
Sir,
Oh,
hold on,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah, but if,
Hold on,
somebody,
You don't. If that was.
Sir, let's leave it at this. Because here's what's happening. There's an emotional polarity that's going on. And what we're trying to tell you, it's not going to resonate. You have a difference of opinion for your own reasons.
Right.
My suggestion to you is take the Quran, go read it, come back to us and ask questions.
I'll be armed for
Okay,
bear.
no problem.
yeah,
No
that sounds
problem.
good.
And may God guide us all to truth and keep us upon truth.
Yes, that's why I say it's worth billions of dollars, though. Okay, man.
Take care of yourself, sir. Drive safe. See you next time.
It's good intellectual.
We'll see you next time. Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise. We'll see you next time.
And you're doing good work.
Thank you.
This is good work.
Thank you very much.
I think it's important to talk and hone our skills.